Hello all, this is Halloween, and if you love cemeteries as much as I do, you may want to subscribe because I'm going to be taking you somewhere new every week. Today we'll be visiting the Keene Cemetery in Parrish, Florida. It is a pioneer cemetery established in the 1800s, and I think you'll enjoy it. We are here at the Keene Cemetery in Parrish. It's very, very rural out here. We almost did not find the cemetery. It's kind of back in an area behind a couple of houses here, and it's all fenced off with barbed wire at the top. We found a spot we can kind of just climb over. I didn't see no trespassing signs or anything like that. It just seems very, very private, like a little private family cemetery. But I wanted to check it out, and we did drive out here, so let's go in and see what we can see. You can see right off the bat that this is a very small cemetery, probably only 100 burials, if I had to guess. Not many at all. But I've noticed looks like maybe some pioneers over here, the Chansey family. I mean, for all I know, these people in these homes that are surrounding the cemetery could be some of their relatives, you know. There's a Shockley here, but there's a big Chansey plot here. So there's Chansey here. He was in the U.S. Army. And then there's another Chansey right here. This is Chansey. So this whole end here is all Chanseys. This entire corner. So this has to be generational, you know. But they've been here for a long time. This is their land. They're probably pioneers of the area. I'd like to know more about them, but I really couldn't find a lot of information on the cemetery outside of genealogy and things like that. People that have family buried here, you can look up the Keene Cemetery. You can look up the Keenes, the Parrishes, Albritton and Rutledge. Here are some Keenes. They're definitely pioneers of the area. This is the Keene Cemetery. So yeah, but it didn't say a whole lot, or maybe I wasn't looking at the right web pages, but I couldn't find much history on that. Here's another Chansey. Here. And looks like a baby Chansey right over there. I'm kind of waiting for someone to come out and yell at us that we're not supposed to be here, but nobody's done that. It seems pretty chill. I mean, I stepped over their little fence there that they have. We're not here to make noise and act crazy or anything. I just wanted to get in here and check out the cemetery. This is a historic cemetery. And there's some old headstones over here in this corner that I'm going to be checking out. Should give us an idea of when the cemetery was established. There is no entrance into this cemetery. It is completely fenced off with barbed wire at the top, but they're right over there near where our truck is parked, and next to those houses there's a part there's a lot of Spanish moss kind of draped over, and it's weighted the fence down so much so that you can just kind of step over it, and that's how we got it. We're breaking the law. So here's more Rutledges. So they're probably significant to the area. I'm going to take some photos, and we're going to go check out these old headstones. quite a few. There are quite a few new burials here, because you can tell by the headstones. This one just passed in 2014, so they are still entering into this cemetery. There's more Chanseys over here. This is mostly Chanseys in this cemetery. Sorry about the wind. It's quite windy today. More Chanseys here. And look at all of these old headstones. Let's see if we can figure this out. This one passed in 1901. This one's really old, almost illegible here. I can't read it. Very old. Yeah. (1908). That's a Jacob King. Here's another Rutledge, another Chansey. Annie Rutledge. Looks like I can't read the... I'm going to take a picture of that. Maybe I can read it better in a photograph. Some of these are so old, they're hard to read. More Chansey here. 1921 there. I think this may be the oldest headstone, unless one of those illegible ones are the oldest, but this is definitely pretty old. This is 18, it looks like 1837, which means that this particular cemetery dates way back to the early 1800s, which is pretty old. And there are a lot of super important pioneer families buried here. At least they're important to the area and its development. It looks like this man's name was Independence Rollerson. That was his name, and they called him Penn. P-E-N-N. Penn Rollerson. But that's kind of a cool name, Independence. And then here are 3 more old headstones. Here's the wife of Penn Rollerson. And they must have children buried here in between. Looks like one of the headstones or footstones was moved here. Looks like there definitely was something there. There's nothing there anymore. And this is Samuel Rollerson. I bet that was their children, and they're buried here on either side. And here's another Rollerson and another one over here. So this is a Rollerson plot. So if your name is Rollerson, Chansey, Keene, Rutledge, you might have family buried here, especially if you live in Florida and you are from the Parrish area, or even Sarasota, Bradenton, one of the surrounding cities. You might have family buried in this small cemetery in Parrish, Florida. It's short, it's sweet, but it's a beautiful little cemetery. It needs a little maintenance, maybe a little TLC, but I mean, for the most part, it's fine. Navigate through, but outside of that, it's worth a visit. Nobody bothers you. I was sure that somebody was going to come out and say, "Hey, you can't be here," but that didn't happen. So, yeah, check it out. We are headed out of the cemetery now. I hope you enjoyed it. Just a little cemetery here in a very rural area of Parrish, Florida. And I'll see you at the next one. you loved today's episode. Of course, not all cemeteries are big and boast the most extravagant headstones and mausoleums. However, they all have their own bit of history and their own unique and interesting qualities about them. Today's cemetery was nothing less. It was kind of hidden. So if you go over there to Parrish, Florida, and you're getting close to the cemetery, you come to like a dead end where there's like 3 or 4 houses around, and then there's a ranch with cattle, and there's just this grassy area with 2 tire tread, with tire marks. Just beyond the tire marks, you can see headstones in the distance, and that's where you want to be. So you're just going to follow the tire marks, and then you get there, and it doesn't look like you can get in, and really, technically, you can't. You find your way in. Very interesting. Definitely established in probably the mid-1800s, or even earlier than that, when they started burial there. It's worth checking out if you're in the area. Anyway, that does it for today's episode. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share the video, and I'll see you next time.